have you ever felt really lost?
Hmm.
Just completely without purpose, wondering if there's something more.
It's a feeling many people experience, right? That deep sense of questioning.
Exactly. And today, we're diving deep into a really personal journey of faith. It's the conversion story of Aisha Mercedes.
Hmm.
We're drawing from a YouTube interview where she really unpacks her life before and after Islam.
Yeah, she's quite open in it.
Totally. So our mission here is to pull out the key moments, the fascinating bits from her story. The tough childhood, the big questions she had, right up to this, undeniable spiritual moment.
We want to understand what leads someone to embrace a whole new path.
Exactly. And you'll hear about this intense crisis moment, a really raw prayer, and even a physical feeling that just changed everything for her.
And what's so interesting, I think, is how Aisha's story shows this complex mix, doesn't it? Personal trauma, real intellectual curiosity, and this underlying spiritual searching.
Mm.
And it can all come together and lead someone to faith in, well, unexpected ways. It really makes you wonder, what does it actually take for any of us to reconsider our most fundamental beliefs?
That's the core question, really. Let's start at the beginning. Aisha, she was born and raised in London, then moved out to Essex around age 12.
Okay.
She describes herself as mixed race, half Jamaican, half English. And interestingly, no religion at home. Her mom's family was Catholic, but it wasn't practiced.
So a secular upbringing, essentially.
Right, and Aisha initially called herself an atheist. But she also admitted, and this is quite telling, that she'd turned to God in times of desperation.
Ah, that contradiction. Even as an atheist, that instinct is still there in crisis.
Exactly, she points it out herself. It suggests maybe that even if you intellectually reject something,
That deeper human need for, I don't know, an anchor, it can still surface, especially under pressure.
yeah, definitely. It kind of lays the groundwork, doesn't it?
It really does. It frames her struggles with Christianity, which came earlier.
Right. She said she just couldn't get her head around concepts like Jesus being the Son of God or why Jesus needs to die for our sins.
Those are big theological questions.
Huge. And she remembers asking about them, but just getting shut down, feeling dismissed, no real answers.
So the explanations just didn't make sense to her.
Exactly. And that intellectual questioning, it wasn't happening in a vacuum, was it?
No, not at all. It was tied up with this deep need for, well, for things to make sense, but also for acceptance, for purpose. It's all connected.
In her childhood. It was incredibly difficult. That adds another layer. Her father suffered from paranoid schizophrenia.
Oh, wow. That's really tough for a family, especially a child.
Definitely. She said she actually left London to run away from my dad after a really bad incident when she was young.
So trauma early on. And displacement.
Yes. And then the bullying started. In London, it was for being mixed race. Then in Essex.
Let me guess, it didn't stop.
No. She was, in her words, the only female of color in my whole school.
Mhm.
Faced racist comments, got expelled eventually.
Just constant alienation.
Completely. She felt she didn't fit in like a target because she wasn't white. Even her London accent got picked on, just on the outside looking in.
That feeling of being othered is so damaging, isn't it? Especially when you're young.
She even admitted that at one point she did really want to be white, just to fit in.
That's heartbreaking. It forces you to question your identity, your worth, where you belong. It often sparks this deep search for something solid.
Totally. And by 15, she was hanging out with the street kids on the streets.
Yeah.
Finding some kind of belonging, maybe, with others from broken homes.
A sense of community, even if it's a difficult one.
Yeah. But it all led to feeling quite displaced, major identity issues. And then, in her early 20s, she felt quite suicidal.
A really dark place, born from all that early pain and confusion.
It paints such a stark picture. But it's against this backdrop that things start to shift unexpectedly.
Right.
So amidst all this, Aisha gets kind of involved in the UK rap music scene.
Okay.
And she notices something. A lot of them are Muslim in that scene.
Ah, so her first real sort of ambient exposure to Islam, not academic, but lived.
Exactly. It's just there in her social circle.
And it's interesting how information can just sort of seep in like that, isn't it? Especially when someone is maybe searching, even subconsciously.
Right. The seeds were being planted without her really noticing.
Mm-hmm.
Then one specific rapper friend starts talking to her about Islam. He even said he tried before, but she had, no recollection,
Yeah.
which made her think later about that Quranic idea, Allah has put a seal on your heart.
Interesting reflection.
But when this friend explained Tawhid, the absolute oneness of Allah, that clicked.
The core concept of Islamic monotheism.
Yes, she said it resonated because Allah had already put something in my mind to question Jesus being the Son of God. This explanation just made complete sense.
So that intellectual piece fell into place. It answered a question she already had.
Exactly. It provided a logical framework that fit where Christianity hadn't for her.
And that intellectual click can be a really powerful first step, giving a sense of order.
For sure. But, lots of people find ideas intellectually appealing. Why didn't she just jump right in then?
Well, that's the key difference, isn't it, between intellectually agreeing with something and being ready to completely change your life for it.
Right.
Aisha herself said she wasn't ready for that drastic change. She was still, enjoying the party lifestyle, involved in music.
Still living her old life.
Exactly. Accepting a truth in your head is one thing. Dismantling your whole way of life is another. It really makes you think, how often do we do that? Acknowledge something, but aren't ready to really live it.
That resistance to change, even for something that feels true. She also mentioned this uncle figure, a Muslim man who ran a shoe shop where she lived. He never really talked about being Muslim, but she trusted him.
A quiet presence.
Yeah. And when she told him she was curious about Islam, after hearing from the rapper, he gave her an old Quran.
So another touch point.
And he just told her, ask Allah for guidance.
No.
Simple as that.
Wow.
But even then, even with the Quran in hand, she wasn't ready. Just left it to one side.
Still not the right time.
Not yet. But then, everything changes. Dramatically. This is the really intense part.
Okay.
She gets a phone call. Urgent. You need to go down to your dad's flat.
Oh, no.
She races to London, gets there, and there's police tape all the way around his building. Can't get in.
That feeling of dread must have been overwhelming, seeing police tape.
Totally. And she calls her dad's phone, just hoping. But a stranger answers. Says, we've got your dad's phone.
Oh, God, that's terrifying. Just pure chaos and fear.
Absolutely. The news was devastating. Her dad had been attacked, stabbed 8 times in a robbery attempt.
8 times.
In his arm, his leg multiple times, and critically in his heart.
Oh, my goodness.
And at the hospital, they initially missed how bad it was. But a new doctor came on shift, checked his heart specifically, and found it was actually punctured. If not for that specific check, Aisha said, he would have internally bled to death.
Just hanging by a thread. That proximity to death, especially for a loved one, it shatters everything. Any sense of control just vanishes.
Completely. She went home that night just breaking. Started crying, felt like it just all got too much.
Understandably. Utter despair.
And in that absolute rock-bottom moment, she hears her uncle's voice in her head, clear as anything.
The uncle from the shoe shop?
Yes, saying, just turn to Allah. Anything Allah wants to do, he can do.
Wow.
And even though she didn't really know who Allah was, formally, she just spoke out loud. Allah, take the pain away.
Just a raw cry for help from the depths. And this is it, isn't it? That pivotal moment. It's not intellectual anymore. It's visceral. It's a direct, felt connection born out of absolute desperation.
Exactly. It transcends the questions, the doubts, the pain.
Spiritual awakenings often happen right there, in that crucible of suffering.
And she says the response was immediate, physical. She felt a physical warmth enter into my feet, up into my legs, all the way up to my body.
A warmth.
Yeah. And she physically felt my heart lift. She stopped crying instantly.
Whoa.
Felt like Allah was saying, don't worry, I'm here.
Like a direct communication, a comfort.
That, she said, was the first time that I'd really, truly believed in God. And the first time a prayer felt immediately answered.
And how does an experience like that not change your entire view of reality? When something so profound, so physical, happens in response to your deepest cry, logic doesn't quite cover it, does it?
Not at all. It becomes this undeniable personal truth. So the very next day, she wakes up feeling different. Almost like I had become a Muslim, convinced Allah was real.
The conviction is immediate.
But it wasn't the end of the journey. She reached out to another rapper friend who then started talking about the tortures of the grave.
Oh, okay. So a different aspect of Islamic belief.
Yeah, and it terrified her. She suddenly felt this urgency. Did not want to die a non-Muslim.
That fear becomes a powerful motivator, from inner peace to urgent action.
She cried for days, apparently, trying to pray, even though she didn't know how. Just talking to God, looking up.
That desire for connection, for the right connection, is so strong now. It's interesting how quickly it moves from personal experience to seeking formal practice.
Totally. So this friend takes her to East London, Green Street, it's a well-known Muslim area,
Right. Very vibrant.
and buys her a pullover hijab, a head covering.
A tangible step.
She tries it on, looks in the mirror, and thinks, wow, this is different. A real moment.
Seeing herself differently.
Yeah. Then, while her friend goes into a mosque in Ilford to pray, she stays outside and makes her own little prayer. Please allow me to become Muslim.
Asking for permission, almost. Making the choice herself.
And she highlighted how important it was that her friend didn't push her, just let her choose.
That space to decide is crucial.
Then she walks into the mosque. First time. Notices, where's the chairs? Feels a bit awkward, tight clothes on with this saki job over.
Understandable feeling out of place initially.
Sits in a circle with others, confirms her belief, confirms she wasn't forced, and takes her shahada.
The declaration of faith. Officially becoming Muslim.
Yeah. How does she feel? Very light. Her friend even said, I feel like the angels are around you.
A different feeling from the first prayer's pain relief. This is something else.
Definitely. And she said her conversion was very surprising for a lot of people.
I can imagine.
She felt she was probably the person that would be least expected to become Muslim. Given her past the streets, the music, the extremely bad attitude born from trauma.
It just shows how much people can change, doesn't it? And how external perceptions don't always match the internal reality or potential. Taking that public step really solidifies things, but it takes courage.
For sure. So now she's Muslim. The practical stuff begins. Learning Salah, the ritual prayer.
Which is quite structured, involves specific movements and Arabic recitation.
Right. She learned online from YouTube, got help from a friend, sent voice notes of Surah Al-Fatiha, the first chapter of the Quran, to check her pronunciation.
Using modern tools to learn ancient practices.
Yeah. She found it quite difficult, very complex, learning the movements and the Arabic at the same time.
It is complex. It shows conversion isn't magic. It's work. It's learning, growing, adapting, aligning the outward practice with the inner feeling.
But she had this real drive, this zealousness, this passion to really learn.
That initial fire.
Totally. She felt a deep connection. Said she cried every single time I prayed, feeling like Allah, glorified and exalted beast, he was standing in front of me.
A profound sense of presence.
But there were big challenges. One of the biggest lifestyle changes. Covering up. Dressing according to the sunnah, covering her hair and body.
The hijab and modest clothing.
Yeah. And that was hard. She said, I was brought up is that you wear what you want. Admits she struggled with that for many, many years.
Her honesty there is really important. It wasn't easy. It shows that embracing religious practices can be a process, especially when it clashes with your upbringing or previous identity.
Definitely. And thinking about her past, feeling judged, targeted for how she looked. How do you think adopting the hijab, despite the struggle, might have eventually resonated?
That's a great question. It's counterintuitive, perhaps, but for someone who felt constantly scrutinized and othered based on appearance, maybe covering offered a different kind of freedom, a way to say, my worth isn't based on how you see my body.
Like taking control of how she's perceived.
Possibly. Shifting the focus from the external gaze to her internal commitment, her relationship with God, it becomes a statement of identity defined on her terms, spiritual terms, not society's, though clearly it was a long process for her.
And what advice did she give others who might be drawn to Islam but fear things like hijab?
Her advice was really insightful. Focus on building a connection with Allah first. Don't make the external practice the barrier.
Get the foundation right.
Exactly. She believes the change will happen once you establish that relationship. Things she never envisioned myself doing, like covering or stopping partying, came naturally later as I grew my relationship with Allah.
Nurture the spiritual poor, and the outward expression follows.
Precisely.
This connects to how she addressed the misconception saying that Islam oppresses women.
Ah, yes, a common stereotype she tackles head-on.
She links it to feminism, arguing that the idea that women doing the same as men is somehow liberating misses what she calls a woman's fitra, her natural disposition.
The inherent nature or constitution in Islamic thought.
Right. She feels women actually thrive when they're being looked after, when she's being protected, especially by men in the family, for someone who felt so unprotected growing up.
That perspective would hold immense appeal, wouldn't it? It reframes protection not as limitation, but as a source of strength and security. It's a direct counter-narrative to common Western feminist ideas, urging us to see value in different frameworks.
It offers a different model of flourishing.
And for her, perhaps it felt like finally finding the safety and care she lacked earlier. It's finding strength in roles often seen as traditional, but which, for her, represent fulfillment.
She's quick to clarify, though, not saying that a woman can't go out and work. She points to Khadija, the Prophet Muhammad's wife.
Who was a successful businesswoman.
Right.
For Aisha, Islam taught her how to be a real woman, understanding complementary values, a man's, her own as a female, while still having her own business and a personality.
It's about distinct roles and values, not necessarily sameness or hierarchy in the way it's often portrayed.
So, putting it all together, what did this mean for her sense of purpose? Before Islam, she's blunt. Didn't really have much purpose.
Just living for the moment.
Yeah. YOLO, as she put it. You only live once. But the problem with that, she found, is when there's no purpose, you fall into that kind of existential crisis.
That emptiness when the party's over.
Exactly. Feeling no reason to live, especially after the lights have gone dimmed.
And that YOLO philosophy, while seeming freeing, ultimately fell hollow to her. It highlights that human need for deeper, lasting meaning, doesn't it? Something beyond just the next thrill. Absolutely. Her conversion wasn't just adopting beliefs, it was finding that anchor, that why.
A guiding purpose.
And Islam provided that. Not just purpose in the afterlife, aiming for Jannah, paradise, but purpose now, using her gifts, like her voice, connecting with people.
So, meaning both transcendent and immanent. Purpose for eternity and purpose for today.
Right. And if she had just 1 minute to talk to all non-Muslims, her message is simple. Give Islam a chance.
Look beyond the headlights.
Yes. She found an undeniable truth, feels the real, true Islam is often misrepresented. She urges people, ask questions, understand the core beliefs, understand who Allah truly is. She believes if you do that sincerely, you will be guided.
It really brings us back to that fundamental human search. When you strip away the media noise, what deep needs does a spiritual path like this fulfill? Aisha's story powerfully suggests it's about meaning, belonging, connection, solace, and direction in a world that often feels chaotic.
Wow, what a journey. We've followed Aisha Mercedes from that really tough childhood, full of questions and displacement, through that incredibly raw moment of despair and divine connection to a life now grounded in Islam.
Her story really is a powerful testament to how personal spiritual experience can reshape a life, and how faith is an ongoing process.
Absolutely. And it's worth reflecting on how both her intellectual doubts and her deep emotional needs found answers in this path, leading to that strong sense of purpose she described.
And perhaps the final thought Aisha's story leaves us with is this. Sometimes the most profound answers don't come from neat arguments or academic proofs. They emerge from our most vulnerable moments, from a heart that's truly open and seeking. Maybe the real truth isn't always about finding the perfect answer laid out for us, but about having the courage to ask the biggest questions, to stay open to unexpected paths, and to simply trust the journey itself.